Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu news analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS Academy for the date 31st Jan of 2023. The list of news articles for today's discussion is displayed here. The aspirants can have a look at it. So for today, we will be covering 5 topics from agriculture, governance, polity, and from economics. Straight away, let us move to the first topic. The first article of the day, tasks for India's millet revolution. We all know that the year 2023 was declared International Year of Millets by Food and Agriculture Organization. So keeping that in mind, the article has been drafted, and this article talks about the importance of millets and also the issues we face in producing and consuming millets in our daily lives. Also, the author tells us the lessons they have learned from Tamil Nadu to make millets production profitable. So keeping this in mind, let us discuss it one by one. First is, why do we need to produce and consume millets? See, there was a pre-launch celebration of International Year of Millets in 2023. In that, the celebration was organized by the Ministries of Agriculture and External Affairs. See, in that celebration, the government named conflict, COVID, and climate as the main food security challenges that the world will be facing. And the meeting also stressed that the cultivation and consumption of millets are very important for de-risking the global economy. Here they mean that the agriculture production will be globally affected due to change in climate, and the consumption of the food will be affected as many people all over the world are pushed into poverty as a result of COVID. And so they will not have money in their hands to buy food grains. So this is said as one reason. And the other reason is that the regions facing conflict will also face food shortage due to low production. And the people affected due to conflicts will have low purchasing power to buy it. So overall, these 3 factors will affect the production of crops. That is why the pre-launch celebration of International Year of Millets called COVID, conflict and climate as world's main food security challenges. So for these reasons, the FAO as well as the government of India have stressed the importance of millets. But why millets particularly? This is because millets are considered to be the powerhouse of nutrition. And even India's Agriculture Ministry declared millets as nutri-cereals. And if you take the story of millets published by the Karnataka State Department of Agriculture in association with ICAR, it is said that millets contain 7 to 12% of protein, 2.2 to 5% of fat, 65 to 75% of carbohydrates, 15 to 20% of dietary fiber. And hence, these small millets are more nutritious compared to fine cereals like rice, wheat, maize, etc. In fact, millets contain higher protein, fat, and fiber content. Because of such benefits from millet consumption, we can say that millets can help in addressing the issues like child stunting, child wasting, and anemia among women. And as a result, the overall malnutrition in developing countries like India can be addressed through production and consumption of millets. And secondly, the millets have special agronomic characteristics. That is, they are drought resistant, and hence millets can be cultivated even in the semi-arid regions. So we don't need to care about problems like high water consumption, depletion of groundwater, high electricity consumption for irrigation purposes can be ignored. And because millets are good for nutrition and are climate resilient, as said earlier, they are widely promoted by countries like India. Even the resolution to declare 2023 as the International Year of Millets was first proposed by India. Only then the United Nations General Assembly adopted this resolution in the year 2021. See, there are many types within the millets, like jowar, bajra, ragi are the minor millets, while kodo, sanva, kukti, and 2 other pseudo millets like buckwheat, amaranth are regarded as nutri-cereals. That is because they have high nutritional value. So till now we saw about millets, right? The picture that I have given here can also used for reference. Here the aspirants can see that jowar, which is minor millet, is grown mainly in the states of Maharashtra and Karnataka, while the bajra is grown mainly in the state of Rajasthan. Likewise, there are many millets, and from the diagram you can see where it is produced, and the production level is also given in the diagram. So you can use it for writing mains. Now let us see what are the challenges we face in producing and consuming it. See, two groups of millets are grown in India. They are classified into major and minor millets. The major millets are sorghum, pearl millet and finger millet, while the minor millets are like barnyard millet, kodo, little millet and many more like that. See, if we consider the year 2019 to 20, the total production of nutri cereals was around 47.7 million tons. But the majority of this production, that is the majority of nutri cereals production, comes from maize, where maize contributes around 28.8 million tons out of this 47.7 million tons. See, this is more than half of the total production, and you have to know that maize is a non-millet crop, and maize is usually used as a feed for livestock like cows, pigs and sheep. If we take the production of sorghum, they are around just 4.8 million tons, while pearl millet is around 10.4 million tons. Put together, the millet production is just around 18.9 million tons. So, low quantity of production is one problem that is highlighted here. Secondly, the millets are procured in only few states, and the stocks in the central pools and the stock in the central pool are also very small. That is, the procurement of millet by FCI is also very less. If we take the data, in May 2022, central stocks had 33 million tons of rice and 31 million tons of wheat. But the central stocks had only 4 lakh tons of all nutri cereals put together. And thirdly, this article highlights the decline in the area under millet cultivation. We will deal about this while considering the Kolli Hill study. Fourthly, the article talks about low production of millets. If we compare the data from 2011 to 2019, we can see there is a fall in production of jowar, and while the production of bajra has been stagnated. And if we take the production of other millets including ragi, they have either stagnated or declined. So know that the production of crop is estimated on absolute numbers, that is in kg tons like that, have registered fall in the production. But the measurement of productivity is different. Here the productivity of jowar and bajra has increased, but that too only marginally. Here we have to note that the measurement of productivity is measured as a quantity of crop per hectare area, and the data shows that the average yield of jowar was 957 kg per hectare in 2011, but it has increased to 989 kg per hectare in the year 2019 to 20. Likewise, the yield of bajra has also increased from 1079 kg to 1237 kg per hectare in the year 2017 to 18. Although the productivity has improved, it is not enough to feed the large population in India. There are 4 factors which need to be addressed to ensure food and nutrition security in India. Now let us learn. These are the 4 factors which needs to be addressed to ensure food and nutritional security in India. Now let us learn the practices that were followed in Kolli Hills. Firstly, know that the author in this opinion section is the chairperson of MS Swaminathan Research Foundation. This research foundation undertook the millet project in Kolli Hills, which is located in Tamil Nadu. The objective of this study are to preserve the crop diversity in local mill varieties and to increase the production and consumption of millets. And altogether, it was to enhance the farm incomes. If we take this Kolli Hills, they are distinct geographical and agroecological regions located in the Eastern Ghats, and know that they are populated by poor households from ST community, that is from scheduled tribe community. Initially, there was a rapid decline in minor millet cultivation in this region, and there was a shift in land use. So as a result, the profitable crops like pineapple, coffee and pepper were only cultivated. Even the Indian Council of Agriculture Research once pointed out that the area under nutri-cereals cultivation has declined steeply in India since mid-1980s. And the reason behind this decline in area under cultivation are as follows. First reason is that the processing of millet, mostly undertaken by women, is a time-consuming and laborious work. For example, a process called hand pounding are done to remove the seed coatings. It is a tedious job where the hand pounding of 2 kg to 3 kg of millets by women take nearly an hour. And secondly, very little was marketed, while only a low share of grain was processed into value-added products. Keeping this in mind, the Research Foundation made some interventions in order to increase the yield and production of millets. They did 3 things. 1. They used the improved seeds. For this, even community seed banks were established and constructed so to conserve and restore local seeds. 2. They introduced new agri practices and new technologies. For example, they used customized post-harvest machineries like pulverizers and dehullers. Know that these machines are used to remove the seed coat and get the consumable grain out of it. Third thing, the Kolli Hills Agro Biodiversity Conservers Federation was formed to look after the training and value addition activities associated with millets. In this way, the branding and marketing of millet produce and their value-added products were done to get higher returns. After all these measures, we can see significant improvement in millets production in Kolli Hills region. Firstly, it led to significant improvement in income from millet farming. Secondly, the shift from hand pounding to milling has reduced the workload of women, and as a result, it encouraged millet consumption. Thirdly, there was a rise in number of private mills with customized pulverizers giving employment and income opportunity in the rural areas. Therefore, there are many ways to improve millet cultivation in India, but for that, we need adequate public support from the government through incentives, subsidies, and by bringing majority of millets under minimum support price and many other measures like that. The lessons learned from Kolli Hills shall be adopted in rural areas all over the country so that it can address both the nutritional security as well as income security of poor rural households. With this, we have come to the end of this topic discussion. So let us move to the next topic. Second topic are wealthy individuals reporting their income and accurately filing their taxes. This news article discusses the reasons behind income inequality in India. This also provides an analysis of why the wealth distribution in India is uneven. In addition to it, the article specifically deals with underreporting of income by the wealthiest classes in India. Let us get into the topic. Beginning with the article, the author highlights the recent Oxfam report. According to this report, the richest 1% in India own more than 40% of country's total wealth, whereas the bottom 50% share just 3% of India's wealth. This is the level of inequality that is prevailing in this country. But the question is, do we get the required tax money from the richest section to redistribute wealth to poor Indians? The answer is no. See, although India has adopted the progressive taxation, that is, the rate of tax increases with the increase in income. Under this system, lower income people are generally exempted while the high income people pay highest taxes. For example, person earning annual income between 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakh will pay 5% of their income as tax. But a person earning above 5 lakh will be paying 10% of their income as taxes. This is to ensure that richer people are highly taxed so that the government will have enough money to redistribute to poor. Only through these funds, government can provide welfare schemes to the poor. But even here, the government could not redistribute because it is failing to get adequate taxes from the rich people. This is because the richer section are underreporting their income and hence they avoid paying taxes to the government. The author of this article has published a paper in which he says that the person, as they get richer, their income to wealth ratio is also seen decreasing. This should be because the income which is in the numerator is reported very less compared to the wealth. But this is not the case if we consider the middle and poor economic classes in India. The report says that the total income reported by the bottom 10% of families in India amount to 188% of their wealth. That is, the income are higher than their total wealth. This shows that the savings, assets and investments of bottom 10% are very low and their income are totally consumed for sustaining their livelihood. But if we look at the income to wealth ratio of top 5% of wealthiest family in India, this ratio is just 4%. Meaning that if suppose a household have 100 crore as wealth, the study says that they report annual income as only just 4 crores. But from where did they accumulate 100 crore is the question here. And the author says that they intentionally underreport their income so as to avoid paying taxes. And the worst case is from the Forbes list, where the wealthiest Indian families from Forbes list have reported their income on an average was less than 0.6% of their wealth. And additionally, the author exposes the issue of capital gains. The practice of underreporting is largely used through loopholes in calculating capital gains. See, the capital gains are nothing but the gains made out of investments. It happens when the value of an asset goes on increasing due to higher demand. See, the wealthier groups hold most of their wealth or capital in form of equity, non-agriculture land and commercial properties. Since these assets can be held in different ways, the wealthier section manipulates its capital income by putting the income under different categories. For example, income from equity gains or dividends from shares will be shown as income from commercial property, so that the amount of paying taxes can be brought down. This is because the tax rate on different assets is not the same, and this is how the income is manipulated to benefit the rich. And know that under Indian tax law, capital gains from an asset are treated as unrealized unless they are exchanged or sold. This means that only if an asset is sold out, the owner of it is liable to pay taxes. Know that the capital gains are thus neither taxable nor the owners are required to report in the income tax returns unless the assets are sold. The paper also examines how other forms of capital income such as dividends are manipulated by the wealthy classes. See, dividends are nothing but the profits that are distributed to shareholders when a company achieves profit margin. Here also the government regulates it and taxes the gains of these shareholders in the name of dividend taxation. To avoid this dividend taxation, the richer classes will follow the tactics of reinvesting these dividends in group of companies, and hence the amount of dividend they would receive would come down and they will underreport their incomes in this way. But note that such kind of underreporting and tax avoidance strategies are not done by wealthy people alone. Every economic class too does things like that. For example, there are reports where taxable labor income being reported as agriculture income in order to avoid paying taxes. So adopting a progressive taxation system alone cannot yield tax resource to the country. Effective implementation of it in practice and addressing loopholes in the tax regime should be done effectively. Finally, the author says that income inequality in India is worse than most estimates. It is not really progressive with regard to income because the taxable income of an individual as a percentage of wealth is decreasing when there is an increase in wealth of the individual. That is, there is no proportionate increase in income although the individual reports higher wealth accumulated. So for a country to achieve inclusive growth, it is very much important to find out the unreported incomes and tax them to redistribute wealth to the poor. That is all about the news article. Here we have discussed the reasons behind uneven income and wealth distribution, and also certain suggestions has been given in order to ensure inclusive growth. So with this, let us finish this topic and move to the next one. Coming to the third topic, SC to examine pleas on electoral bond scheme today. See, the news article is about the electoral bond scheme. This article reports that by today, the Supreme Court will decide whether to refer the cases challenging the EBS scheme to the constitutional bench or not. Know that after coming into implementation, there were large number of petitions filed against this scheme in the Supreme Court. The petitioners are saying that the scheme has boosted only anonymous donations to political parties and it has brought no transparency in political funding process. So the apex court will now be deciding the validity of the scheme by analyzing the provisions of the scheme. So in this context, let us study the scheme from prelims and mains angle. Electoral bond scheme. See, the EBS is nothing but a financial instrument, and know that these bonds do not yield any interest. That is, they are non-interest bearing bonds. See, these electoral bonds allow eligible donors to pay eligible political parties using banks as intermediaries. That is, the donor who wishes to donate funds to a political party will have to buy this bond from the bank and pay a certain amount to the bank for this. The bank in turn will ask the political party to which the person has donated to come and encash it within a particular time period. The aim of this electoral bond is to ensure transparency and clean the political funding system in the country. If we take eligibility criteria for receiving and donating funds, the eligibility criteria for political parties have been separately mentioned. See, only the political parties that have been registered under the Section 29A of Representation of People Act of 1951 are eligible to receive funds. Secondly, these registered political parties should have got at least 1% votes or more than that in the last Lok Sabha election or the state assembly elections. Only then they can receive funds through electoral bonds. This is because only parties that are registered and actively taking part in politics can get donations, and those that are simply registered and are inactive cannot get donations. Thereby, any evasions or diversion of funds can be prevented. Also, the eligibility of donors is mentioned. It says that any citizen of India or entities incorporated or established in India can purchase these electoral bonds, which means that only Indians and companies registered in India can give political donations. Also, the citizens can buy these electoral bonds either singly or jointly with other individuals. Now let us see how this scheme functions. Know that only bank that issues is the State Bank of India. Also, it is issued only in months of January, April, July and October. Know that the electoral bonds are available in denominations from rupee 1000 to 1 crore. In addition to it, the donors can buy electoral bonds and transfer them into the accounts of political parties as a donation. But here, the name of the donor is kept very confidential. Only the SBI Bank and the Election Commission of India will be knowing the name of the person who has donated. For this reason, each political party will create a specific account and this account will be verified by the Election Commission of India. After that, whenever the political parties get donations, they will encash the electoral bonds only in this verified account. Know that the bonds will remain valid only for a period of 15 days. Within that time, the political party have to encash the electoral bond in that specific accounts. This is all about the scheme, but the question is that has this scheme ensured any transparency in political funding? Let us find the answer to it by knowing the issues in it. Firstly, the problem of anonymity persists in the scheme. That is, in the electoral bond scheme, there is no provision that reveals the name of the donors of political party. This violates the freedom of political information, which is integral to Article 19(1) of the Constitution. So, as a result, those who contributed to whichever party will not be known to people who vote in the political process. Secondly, the challenge is associated with the Amendments of Finance Act 2017. The Election Commission points out various challenges in the Finance Act, like the amendments to Companies Act of 2013. In that amendment, the eligibility clause have been removed. The eligibility clause that existed before allows only a company which has a net average profit of 7.5% in last 3 financial years to make a political contribution. But this amendment has removed this eligibility clause. So now any company, even if it faces loss, can give donations to political party. Also, the ECI objects to this amendment by saying that this gives rise to creation of shell companies just to fund political parties. Further, this amendment will also give rise to issue of black money again in political funding. Secondly, the amendments made to Representation of People Act 1951 is another issue. By this amendment, the political parties now are not required to provide report to ECI regarding the donations they have received through electoral bonds. So this reduces the transparency in political funding, and further it prevents public scrutiny in democracy. Next is the amendment made to Foreign Contributions Regulation Act. This amendment permits the political parties to accept donations even from foreign companies. Hence, this is said to increase unchecked foreign funding to political parties in India. Further, this provision also threatens Indian policies as they might be influenced by foreign companies. These are few issues that need to be addressed to realize the objective of this scheme in practice. So here we discussed in detail about the electoral bond scheme as well as the issues which need to be sorted out. So with this, let us complete this topic and move to the fourth topic of the day. Coming to the fourth topic, Center to roll out process to set up 16th Finance Commission soon. See, this news report is regarding the establishment of 16th Finance Commission. The chairperson of 15th Finance Commission said that the 16th Finance Commission should have been put to place by now. But since the 15th Finance Commission made recommendations covering 6-year period beginning from 2020, constituting the 16th Finance Commission has been delayed. And this is not the first time that FC report has been covering 6-year period of reference for giving its recommendation. But know that this is the first time where setting up a constitution body every 5 years has been delayed, and the establishment of FC in later part of the year will breach that 5-year gap. So in this context, let us discuss about the Finance Commission from prelims angle. See, Finance Commission is a constitutional body and it is constituted by the President under the Article 280 of the Constitution. The mandate of this commission is mainly to give its recommendation on distribution of tax revenues between union and states. And the recommendations also include distribution of tax revenue among the states themselves. I know that the commission is appointed every 5 years by the President, and this commission consists of a chairperson and 4 other members. They hold office for a period as specified by the President in the presidential order, and know that they are also eligible for reappointment. In case of recruiting experts to Finance Commission, the Constitution has authorized the Parliament to determine the qualifications and the manner in which they will be selected as a member of the Commission. Accordingly, the Parliament has also specified the qualifications of the Chairman and the members of the Commission. If you take the functions of Finance Commission, the Commission makes recommendations to the President of India on distribution of net tax proceeds between Union and the states. That is, it analyzes the term of reference that are notified by Finance Ministry, and then the FC looks into the financial position of both the central government and the state government. And then based on a certain formula it will recommend the amount of taxes that should be shared between center and states. This is a vertical division of tax funds. But also the Finance Commission recommends for horizontal division of tax amounts. That is, different states will be recommended with different quantity of funds to be shared. Thus, we can say FC, that is the Finance Commission, acts as a financial equalizer, ensuring poor states get due funds to ensure development in those states. So that is why the Finance Commission is also called quasi-judicial body. But you have to note that the recommendations made by the Finance Commission are only advisory in nature, and hence they are not binding on the government. That is, the government can even reject the recommendations of Finance Commission. Next thing is that the Commission also decides the principles that govern the payment of grant in aid to state. That is, it tells that the Finance Commission can mention the reason why grant in aid to certain states should be given. For example, some states would have efficiently implemented a central government scheme. In that case, the Finance Commission will recommend center to give funds to those states so that they can encourage other states to follow such best practices. Thirdly, the President of India can also refer any matter to the Finance Commission that deals with building a sound finance system. These are few functions of the Finance Commission, and so in this topic we dealt about the Finance Commission comprehensively, covering the prelims angle. With this, let us close the topic and move to the next one. Coming to the final topic of the day, infrastructure capex likely to continue. Small tweaks can make a big impact. See, this section highlights the importance of capital expenditure in the economy. Further, the author wants the government to ensure increase in investment in infrastructure for certain reasons. Firstly, an increase in capex on infrastructure is said to boost the economy by improving the competitiveness of products and services produced in the country. For example, if government invests in road or highways and any other mode of transportation, it will significantly reduce the logistic costs. So as a result, the cost of the finished goods and services will come down and can also improve its competitiveness in the market. Second, it also leads to market linkage because the different market regions will be integrated by infrastructure projects through road connectivity, highways, etc. So by that way, market linkage and economy of scale can also be improved. Further, the author appreciates the government funding of infrastructure projects, especially after the implementation of National Infrastructure Pipeline. See, the NIP is one of the Government of India initiative to provide world-class infrastructure across the country and improve the quality of life of all citizens. Such increase in the infrastructure financing can be seen from the budget allocation for the year 2022 to 2023, where the capex has increased to 7.5 lakh crore, which is about 35% increase compared to 2021 to 22 budget. The key area of investments are roads, railways, urban development, drinking water and rural sanitation schemes, etc. Although there was an increase in year-on-year capital expenditure from government side, the contribution of central government to the total annual infrastructure investment is around 30% only. While the state governments contribute to around 20%, the banks and NBFCs contribute to 15%, but the private sector investments is about 20 to 25% of total annual infrastructure investments. However, the budget allocation to infrastructure for the upcoming fiscal year is expected to be lower. This is because the government has to deal with fiscal deficit and unavoidable allocations like food and fertilizer subsidy. So in this case, the author suggests few ways to increase the investments to infrastructure by other means. Firstly, the author says that is the Government of India needs to strengthen the support to state governments, and also the Government of India should guide the state governments to invest more in infrastructure. For this purpose, he says that special assistance to states for capital investment scheme should be extended by Union government for the period 2023 to 2024. In addition to it, the Government of India should encourage states in monetization of existing infrastructure assets. That is, by offering the state governments unutilized and underutilized assets to the private companies. In that way, the state government can get revenue from the private players and the private players can use such assets to boost the economy. But for this to happen, the author says Government of India can set up a dedicated asset monetization fund and help the states to monetize its assets. Secondly, the article talks about asset-backed securities. See, we know, right, non-performing assets of banks are largely held in the infrastructure projects. So the author says that the assets that were backed as securities by the infrastructure companies while getting loans from the financial institutions shall be packed wholly as an asset-based security. And this asset-based security can be differentiated based on their seniority and risk level. And then these asset-based security can be given in form of securities to the institutional investors through private placements. Therefore, the money that has come up from the private placements could be used as a source of fund to finance infrastructure needs. For this whole process to happen, the government of India can set up a national level mechanism with initial capital. And thirdly, the author says that there shall be a single window credit enhancement facility in order to finance infrastructure projects of public-private partnerships. See, single window clearance is a service model where all services related to a particular sector can be obtained from a single agency. So investors do not have to deal with the multiple agencies for getting the required service. So the author says budget may consider providing the initial capital for setting up national level single window facility. This is mainly to extend credit guarantee facility to eligible public-private partnership projects. See, nowadays the financial institutions shy away from giving loans to infrastructure development companies. So if government gives guarantee to the infra loans, then the financial institution will come forward to lend. Thereby, the private players will have adequate liquidity and also get long-term finance to join the public-private partnership projects. Such models have been successful in European Union and Indonesia. So, if these recommendations are followed as the author has suggested, the infrastructure in India will be undergoing a transformation in spite of low budgetary support from the central government. So, that is all about the article. Here, the author has discussed the reasons demands infrastructure investments and suggests various ways in investing infrastructure projects. That is all about the article. With this, let us complete this news article discussion and move to the prelims and mains question discussion. Now, coming to the first question, with respect to the Finance Commission of India, which of the following statements is or are correct? Statement 1, it is a constitutional body established under Article 279A of the Constitution. Statement 2, the Constitution has prescribed the qualification and manner of selection of its members in detail. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The options given are option A, 1 only, option B, 2 only, option C, both 1 and 2, option D, neither 1 nor 2. See, here the correct answer is asked. So, if we take the first statement, it is saying that the Finance Commission is a constitutional body. Yes, this is correct. But it says it is established under Article 279A of the Constitution. This is wrong because Finance Commission of India is established under Article 280 of the Constitution. And this Article 279 leads to establishment of GST Council. So, first statement is wrong. The second statement says that the Constitution has prescribed the qualification and manner of selection of its members. This is also wrong because in our discussion we saw that the Constitution has empowered the Parliament to prescribe the qualification, and in that matter the Parliament has also provided the requirements and the qualifications that are required to become a chairperson and member of the Finance Commission. So both these statements are wrong, and the correct answer for this question is option D, neither 1 nor 2. Coming to the second question, this is a previous year prelims question. Consider the following crops of India. 1. Groundnut. 2. Sesamum. 3. Pearl millet. Which of the above is or are predominantly rain-fed crop or crops? The options given are option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 2 and 3 only, option C, 3 only, option D, 1, 2 and 3. This is a factual question. And the correct answer for this is the option D, 1, 2 and 3. This is because all the three crops are predominantly rain-fed crops. See, over 60% of total cropped area in India is rain-fed. The pearl millet is well adapted to growing areas that are characterized by drought, low fertility and high temperature. So the correct answer for this question is option D, 1, 2 and 3. Now coming to the mains question. Critically examine the effectiveness of electoral bonds to make Indian elections more transparent. Discuss the reforms that are needed to make the Indian elections process fairer. So the aspirants can take note of the question. You can write the answer and you can post that answer in the comment section. and you can also have a peer review of it. So with this, we have come to the end of the news articles discussion and also practice questions discussion. So let us wind up this discussion for today. And if you like the way I teach and if you can understand the concepts well, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to ForumIAS for further updates. Thank you.